Should you get the Umidigi S3 Pro or the Umidigi F1? In this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the Umidigi S3 Pro and the Umidigi F1. Now, I know a lot of people have been asking for this comparison, and I'm really excited to finally have both of these devices. Now, these devices do have a lot in common, but they also have a lot of differences, and we're going to be going over all of that in this video. Now, the S3 Pro is a very new device. It hasn't been out for very long at all, and the F1 has been out for about 3 or 4 months now. So both devices are relatively new, so even though the Umidigi F1's a little bit older, it's still fairly new. It's not old by any means. So the Umidigi S3 Pro is available for $299, and the Umidigi F1 is available for $219. Now, these are the current prices. I'm sure over time the prices will go down, so definitely take a look at the links in the video description where you can see the current pricing for these two phones. Now, both devices are available factory unlocked, and they're officially GSM unlocked, and what's great about them being factory unlocked is that you can easily switch from carrier to carrier, and it's as simple as taking out your old SIM card and putting in your new one. Now, both devices feature 1080p displays at 6.3 inches. Allegedly, these actually use the same display technology, and it certainly looks like it when looking at these two displays because they look very similar. But essentially, with these two devices, you're going to be getting great looking displays. And if you watch a lot of videos, whether that's YouTube or Netflix or Hulu, or you browse the web, or really do anything that involves a lot of screen time, you're going to get a great experience with both of these phones because they both have really awesome displays. Now up top, they both have notches. Now with the Umidigi S3 Pro, we're getting a 20 megapixel front-facing camera, and with the Umidigi F1, we're getting a 16 megapixel front-facing camera. So a little bit of a higher megapixel count on the Umidigi S3 Pro. Now from my personal experience, I've noticed that both phones deliver kind of the same level of quality when it comes to front-facing photos and videos. Both devices also feature 128 gigabytes of internal storage with the ability to expand that with a microSD card. It's extremely impressive that both of these devices feature that much internal storage at under $300. Now, neither of these two devices feature wireless charging, which is certainly a disappointment because the cheaper sibling to these, the Umidigi One Max, does have wireless charging. And they certainly could have done it because neither of these two devices feature metal backs, and if your phone has a metal back, then you can't do wireless charging. So they could have incorporated that into either of these. Now, both devices do have fingerprint sensors on the back, and they both work really well. So let's do a demonstration of the fingerprint sensor. So we'll first do the Umidigi S3 Pro. So you can see just like that, it was really quick to unlock the phone by using the fingerprint sensor. And what's especially cool about that is that you don't even have to tap on the power button. You literally just lay your finger on that fingerprint sensor and the device immediately unlocks. Now with the Umidigi F1, you also get a really good fingerprint sensor that's extremely responsive. Now both devices feature dual cameras on the back. You get a 48 megapixel main camera on the Umidigi S3 Pro and a 12 megapixel secondary camera. And on the F1, we get a 16 megapixel main camera and an 8 megapixel secondary camera. Both phones have a bokeh mode, which is similar to portrait mode on the iPhone. The Umidigi S3 Pro features 6 gigabytes of RAM, and the Umidigi F1 features 4 gigabytes of RAM. And the Umidigi S3 Pro features the MediaTek Helio P70 processor, and the F1 features the MediaTek Helio P60 processor. So you do get a better and more up-to-date processor with the S3 Pro, and it does actually make a big difference. Don't get me wrong, the F1 is still a very quick device. You're going to have no problem doing pretty much everything on it, but you're still going to get a faster and more refined experience with the S3 Pro. And especially having that extra 2 gigabytes of RAM on here with a total of 6 gigabytes of RAM with the Umidigi S3 Pro, it's going to make your experience of using it much better. So I think overall, you're going to get a lot better performance with the S3 Pro compared to the F1. But also don't forget that the F1 is $80 cheaper than the S3 Pro. So I don't know if this is $80 worse or this is $80 better. I think there are a lot of similarities in performance with these two phones. But just know that if you are concerned about having a phone that performs well, you're going to be pleasantly happy and maybe even surprised with these two devices. Now they both have the same sized battery coming in at 5,150 milliamp hours, which is good to see. And they both run Android 9 Pie, which is good as well. You're also getting a near stock experience with these two phones, so you're getting great performance, great software refinement, and really no bloatware at all. Now that we've gone over the specifications of these two devices, let's compare the hardware. So like I mentioned before, they both share the same display technology with 1080p displays that come in at 6.3 inches. Then up top, they both have a notch, with the S3 Pro featuring a 20 megapixel camera and the F1 featuring a 16 megapixel camera. Then down below, we do have a kind of decent sized lip here with both devices, but they still both look very stylish and modern. I mean, these devices certainly don't look outdated by any means. They're both very sharp and good looking. On the left side of these two phones, we have the same configuration with just the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then on the right side, we also have a similar setup with the volume rockers and the power button. On the top of both phones, we have the noise canceling microphone. On the bottom of both phones, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, we have the microphone, we have the USB Type-C port for charging and data transfer, and we have the speaker. And on the back side, we also have a similar configuration here with the camera module, fingerprint sensor, and the Umidigi logo. Now the build quality is certainly very different between these two devices. So with the Umidigi S3 Pro, we're getting a very premium design here. We're getting a metal rail around the side, and on the back here, we have a nice polished ceramic material. On the other hand, on the Umidigi F1, we have plastic on the back here. Now it is a good quality, nice feeling plastic, and it's very hard and durable, but it still is plastic, and it's pretty much plastic all throughout. Of course, the display is glass, but that's the only thing that is glass. Otherwise, this device is all plastic on the back. So really just in the quality itself, I can see how the Umidigi S3 Pro is $80 more expensive, because it really does feel like $80 more expensive. On top of that, you get better specs internally. So there are a lot of benefits with the Umidigi S3 Pro over the Umidigi F1. If you're big into gaming, then just know that you're gonna have no problem with gaming on either of these two phones. Both phones are gonna work really well with PUBG Mobile, which is a very demanding game, but a game that will work fine on both phones. And then other games that are less demanding are gonna perform really well too. All right, let's now do a speed test comparison between the two devices. So I have cleared out the recent apps on both phones. And let's now go to the camera app. So 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like the S3 Pro is first at starting up the camera. Let's now start up Google Chrome. 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like the S3 Pro is slightly quicker at starting up Chrome. Let's go to Yahoo. 1, 2, 3, go. The S3 Pro is quicker at starting up Yahoo. Let's go to Engadget. 1, 2, 3, go. S3 Pro is also first to show content on Engadget. Now both devices are really smooth with their scrolling here, so that's not a problem at all. They both work really well for that. Let's go to this article. 1, 2, 3, go. And that was about equal on both, maybe a little bit quicker on the Umidigi S3 Pro. So in conclusion, I think there's a lot to like with both of these devices. You have to consider here that there is a little bit of a price difference, with the Umidigi F1 being $219 and the Umidigi S3 Pro being $299. So the S3 Pro is $80 more expensive, so you'll have to consider that when trying to decide if it's worth buying or not. But I do think the S3 Pro is worth the extra money. I think getting that faster and more modern processor is an improvement with that Helio P70. I also like how the S3 Pro has 6 gigabytes of RAM. And I think you're going to get better camera performance overall with the S3 Pro. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos about the Umidigi S3 Pro, you've probably seen that I do think that there's room for improvement with the cameras. I think with the software update, you'll be able to get better camera performance with the Umidigi S3 Pro. So overall, as things are out of the box here, you're going to be able to take better photos and videos with the Umidigi S3 Pro. But I hope you enjoyed this comparison video between the Umidigi S3 Pro and the Umidigi F1. Let me know down in the comment section below which of these two devices you prefer, and let me know if you own one of these, and let me know if you plan on buying one of these in the future, as I'm really interested to know your thoughts on these two phones. But this is Kevin Breeze here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I do have some bonus material here at the end, and that is video quality samples from the two phones. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to do any side-by-side comparisons with the cameras on the devices, but I do have these two clips, one from the Umidigi S3 Pro and the other from the Umidigi F1. So hopefully by seeing these two clips, you can come up with your own conclusion on which one produces the best video results. Definitely let me know in the comments section which one you prefer. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here coming at you with a test video from the Umidigi S3 Pro. This is being filmed in 1080p at 30 frames per second. Let me know what you think of the quality down in the comments section below.